caw, caw, caw. Caw, caw. Hector's dolphins, Hector's dolphins. Hector's dolphins, Hector's dolphins. Whales too. Little white penguin, yellow white penguin. Albatross, albatross. Just take off my clothes. Just fucking start sticking shit up my cooch kind of thing. Just start, shave my head. I feel that shit though. For real. We're all just cogs in the machine, bruh. We're all just being toyed with. Might as well. Just start cutting myself. That'd be cool if I was just on live and I was just cutting myself. I haven't drank very much. I'm pretty sober. This is just me sober. Literally, I'm fucking insane. I'm just an insane person. I've had like a single beer. Like I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm good to go. Just crazy. Just fucking nuts. I'm nuts. I'm absolutely nuts. I say crazy shit all the time. I do it at work a lot, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I shouldn't say that. That's crazy. Like I say crazy shit to kids. Like I shouldn't say, you shouldn't say such crazy shit to kids, but I do. I say like really insane shit to kids. Like this girl this morning, my big regret this morning was like, this girl, Navy, her name's Navy, and her mom is one of the teachers, and her mom's like 21 years old. Actually, her mom and me just had a joint birthday party, which was kind of cool. But her mom's an Aquarius. I'm a Capricorn. So we had this little joint birthday. Our birthdays are like 10 days apart. But her daughter is named Navy, and she came in and she was saying something. She's 2 years old. She was like, tell me something about it. So she's saying something about Navy. And I was like, Navy? Your name is Navy? And she's like, she kept repeating herself. I was like, you mean your name is Navy? And I concluded that she was saying something about her name being Navy. And she saw it right there on the board. Like she registered that her name was Navy. And I said something to the effect of, well, maybe you'll have him in. I told her, Well, maybe you'll have a midlife crisis and change your name one day. Who knows? I don't know. I said something like that. Because I've known so many people that have changed their name in later life. I actually have, but nobody in my community knows people like that, but I do. And then I was like, and then I went away to do something else, and I was like, and everyone heard it, like people heard it, and no one said, like nobody. Her mom was like, "All right, Navy, come on, let's put your bag away." Like they didn't really acknowledge what I said. Like I say a bunch of shit and nobody acknowledges it. Like I make jokes and no one cares or no one knows or no one has any point of reference for my jokes. My jokes are just like a little bit like this. um yeah, but but I don't want to, fall into that parody or that kind of like that shtick, that kind of thing that some adults do. I don't. I'm normally on the children's level of intellect and conversing, but some adults will do this thing, and you might notice this is a thing where they when they're interacting with the children, they're like responding with like adult answers. They're like saying adult type things that are going above the children's head. A lot of dads do this with their children. They do it in a joking way, and they're doing it not for the child, but they're doing it for the adults who are watching the interaction. This is the nitty-gritty of child-adult interactions, child-adult engagement, child-adult environments. There are those adults who will try to engage with children and like saying things that are like above and beyond the child, or they make kind of a cutting joke, or they'll say something undermining to the child, or they'll make some kind of joke that's like they'll reference a movie that of course the child like Schindler, they'll reference Schindler's List or something. I don't know. They'll say something to the child in this kind of punny like kind of way that kind of like makes that it's aimed at the other adults in the room, and not so much for the and the child is just kind of left in this like state of like not knowing. But that's kind of a child's experience oftentimes with adults for a large part until they're about the age of 5, is like not really understanding what adults are talking about entirely, or understanding the tonality of the gradients of humor, the gradients of tone. Like children don't really get that stuff until 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kind of a thing. Like they don't really, and even 10, they still are going to miss a lot of the jokes. Like it really takes, you have to be 18, 19, 20, to really fully, but some actually maybe more like 12, 13, 14, you can really start getting jokes. You can really start understanding what's going on. It's kind of it's around like 12, 14, and that's kind of when girls start to develop breasts, and that's when like men start to predate, predator. They start to predate on girls. They start like 12, 13. That's kind of when like they start to understand what's going on, the jokes, the colloquialisms and things like that, like for girls and some boys and stuff, and boys as well, but like no one's predating. Like the like grown women are not hitting on, like the most catcalling I ever got in my life, the most hitting on, the most sexual attention maybe that I ever got in my life was when I was 12. For real. So I think that's when you start registering as a sexual entity. And I think there's also, gradients of pedophilia. There's certainly a category that prefers like a 12, 13, 14-year-old girl. There's some that prefer a 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old girl. There's some that prefer more the 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old girl variety. I think there's like gradients of pedophilia. And I've certainly been at the helm. I've been at the whims. I've been at the mercy. I've been at the mercy of men at every stage of that journey. So when do you fall out of love with men? When do you fall out of love with men? It's really early on when you start to question them. But then you have like your dad. If your dad is a pretty good dad, it gets confusing if you have like certain male role models in your life that are acting as antidotes to that. It becomes a bit of a confusing world of who's safe and who's not safe. Like who's like wants to touch my size A cup tits and who wants to like buy me an ice cream cone. It's like this kind of weird game of dodgeball, like that you're playing as a teenage girl. But that's just part of being a woman. That's just part of being a woman. And I guess, men have a high sex drive and their hormones are a lot of mental illness. And me and my friend, and like we attribute to certain bacteria in the gut, certain parasites and accumulations of like food and habits. A lot of behavior starts here, and this like food, this mouth gut connection spawns a lot of certain things. So it's like if someone's acting crazy or acting weird with you or something, it's it's good to not so much judge them as an essence, as a totality, or as this kind of primary being that they. It's good to look at kind of the array of things in their lives, like their diet, it's their diet and their environment, the mold that they were exposed to as a child, the mold that they've been in. Like a lot of these things that are causing people to like act out. Genetics as well, and karmic things that are passed through the genetic lineage and stuff like that create these manifestations of asocial behavior. And so for men in particular, there's this kind of overarching, just in generalized sense of like testosterone, hormones, high sex drive, especially from ages. It can start at like 8, 9 for boys, just depending on what's going on hormonally, but like really like 14, 15, 16 up to 30, I want to say. And then after 30, I really get this sense that even 30 is this kind of interesting. It's like the Saturn return. It's this interesting point where things become a little more less in the body, a little bit less driven by seemingly magic, like a miracle states of being. Like this miracle state of being drove me to have like a midnight stand. Like this miracle state of haplessness drove me to have like this reckless sex with the stranger. That kind of stuff kind of really does have a cutoff at like 30, or at like 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. That kind of stuff kind of stops, and then it does become more of a cerebral choice, I feel, for most people. But there are people who have really bad, it's probably something more in their gut, probably something more molecular going, or something more sinister or genetic or karmic or past lives or family histories. If they're still predating, if you're still a predator at 37, if you're still a sex pest at 45, Like, I feel like something's really fucking wrong with you. Like, that's, you save that for when you're 17, 18, 19, 26, 23 kind of a thing. Like, if you're still a sex pest at 52, like, something is really sentimental. Like, there's a sentimentality to your approach to life where it's like you're trying to like enliven yourself with like past, you're trying to like it's like a midlife, it's almost like, it reads like a midlife crisis. It's like a sentimental thing. It's like a fear of death kind of a vibe I'm getting, kind of a thing. It's not really as strongly hormonally driven. I don't feel like testosterone is like peaking at 52. Like at 52, it's like, okay, it's like we should be chilling out a little bit. But yeah. But yeah, to keep this lustful thing, it would have to really be a lot of in the fantasy. You would have to almost be like an actor or an actress yourself. Like if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and you're still like looking for that lustful passion, cupping the breast and rubbing the vag and sucking the cock and all this kind of like shit. If that's like still going on, I feel like after a certain age, it's like not to say you're trapped in a memory, but you're like, it might be a trap of what is that? It's like it could be two particular individuals who are fantasy driven, or they love theater, like two actresses, an actress and an actor, who are engaged in this kind of communion with each other that has a lot of like this really tight, ooey gooey, tight grip tie with each other kind of thing. And like in a tight bond with another human being that has like a fantasy component to it. I just sort of feel like sex after a certain age has a lot to do with memories, fantasy, like cinematography, even like comic books that you might have read as a teenager. It might be to do with pornography that you looking at, or some kind of, yeah, like a midlife crisis vibe, like a reinvigorating of old feelings, like you're trying to work yourself up and feel young again or something. Because I feel like for most of us, after like a certain age, like it's like sex, we can really take it or leave it, and much prefer to do other activities. You And drinking can cause hypersexuality. Drinking, MDMA, certain drugs in certain environments. It's all fantasy. It's like certain environment. Like if you took a trip to France with your lover, with your boyfriend, and you were just like at your hotel and you guys were on the balcony and you were sipping wine, of course that would be like, and you had like most delicious, you just had the most delicious dinner, and like all everything, and like someone's playing the saxophone like underneath the by like, and then someone's like on a boat like going by, like of course there's like, so there's like this fantasy element to it after a certain age. I feel that can coax it out of you. Sexuality, sex and taking this, I'm a Capricorn double Scorpio, which are like the two most like highly sexual signs or whatever. Like, so I can kind of look at this, I feel like, with the most salient mind. I can look at this with a fairly salient mind. All right. Well, no one's coming on my live today. And it's been 21 minutes. I really got to do it on a Saturday at 12 p.m., but I got things to do at Saturday at 12 p.m. It's really better to do it after work on Friday. It's a lot easier for me to do this after work on Friday, but all right.